Hi there, I'm Richard. Welcome to Burning Spears. Today is my 7,000 subscriber special. It's a video I've been meaning to do for a while, but first, please allow me, and please be patient enough to listen to two of my emotional hooks. I promise you it won't take long. The first emotional hook, 7,000 subscribers. I've been doing this for about 22 months, almost 2 years, and the first 1,000 were really tough. Then I all of a sudden had a spurt last year, sort of like April to August. I had about 5,000 odd subscribers in that short time. Then this last 1,000 has been quite a drag. I'm probably not going to be one of those people who get to 100,000 subscribers and can live and do it full time. But c'est la vie. I'm having a blast, and I'm bringing you content like this. And I've developed a great community. So thank you to those 7,000. And thank you to the guys that I chat regularly with on comments. For me, it's great that people watch me. I do talk a lot, and people's attention spans are shorter these days. So it's tough to break that market and keep people engaged and all that. So thank you to those guys. Every one of you counts, I promise you that much. So if you are watching this, you haven't subscribed, please do so. It costs nothing. It means a great deal to small content people like myself, and it means that we get motivated and keep bringing you this content. My second emotional hook. Towards the latter of my time in South Africa before I came to the UK, I started getting a bit more into the tougher cuts. So the poorer sections of the population, they eat things like short rib, cut like this. Koreans, obviously, the Kalbi short rib, they do very similarly, but you don't really see short rib in the racks and all that sort of thing. It's cut like that, along with thin cuts of tough meat like brisket, blade and chuck. I started getting into that, and you start to notice that when cooked properly, it might not be the most tender, juicy steak, but it's a piece of meat that has the most amazing flavor. It really does. So I started using those a lot. And I haven't done ribs like this in a while. So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to test a couple of different techniques and methods side by side to see which is the best, because I also want to know. Then the winner of those techniques, I'm going to translate into Korean short rib on the braai for you. So you're getting a 2-for-1 here. Let's get into it, and thank you again. Okay, so I had the short rib cut up by a South African butcher. So 4 bones, large amount of fat, almost like bacon, this stuff. So a touch thicker than the traditional galby. The Korean thickness is probably 3/4 the thickness of a South African style beef short rib. So these are each 1 kilogram. I had these done up by a British butcher. That way I was sort of guaranteed the differences, you know. Okay, I'm going to cook the South African butcher short rib as part of the first part of the video with the different method trials. Right, I'm just going to season the items of meatiness, gorgeousness with Robertson's. Use a seasoning of your choice. Then suitably, I'm going to use the very similar Korean Kalbi cut for the Korean. Now, what I'm going to do a little bit, probably off camera or on camera, I'm just going to compare while I expand my Korean palette. I'm going to use this. I've got a Korean barbecue sauce here, and then some fancy smancy. There's like packets of seeds that you have to heat up and grind up, and 2 different things. Some Korean barbecue. So I'm going to see how that compares with my homemade one, which I love. I love this recipe. Right, I'm going to put that in the fridge for 4 hours at least. Overnight would be great. 24 hours even better. Let that pear, in this case, tenderize that much more. But I'll be getting great results anyway. Okay, so my recipe will be in the description below. So I've got a half a pear here. You can use an apple, you can use a kiwi fruit, pawpaw, papaya, that sort of thing. Helps with the breakdown and the tenderization, and of course imparts a little bit of flavor. So only half of that. Then a finger of ginger. Ginger always gets the best quantities. Quite hard to break up and fibrous, but hopefully we get it all nice and finely pureed. Four to 5 cloves of garlic. These are big cloves, so I've got 4. Then you would use some onion. However, I'm going to be using the greens, and these are quite commonly used in Korean cooking and barbecue. So those I'll be using for the garnish. You'll see that in a bit. But I want a little bit more. Probably want in the region of about half a cup of onion in total. Just pop a little bit of pepper in there before I forget it. 2 to 3 tablespoons of nice quality sugar, brown sugar. See, some people use a blend of white and brown. I don't know why. 1/3 of a cup of dark soy sauce. 2 tablespoons of mirin. If you can't get hold of mirin, use a rice vinegar or some nice vinegar like a cider vinegar. And then the quintessential 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. Now the last ingredient is gochujang. A little bit of an acquired taste. It's quite funky. I do struggle with it a little bit, but I need to grow a pair and get on with it. I'm going to be working on a couple of Korean flavors in the coming months. I want to get into their flavor profiles and develop my Korean barbecue skills, so I need to get used to this stuff. I don't know, it's like fermented, so it's funky, very salty with a bit of chili. I'm going to put in 1 heaped teaspoon and see how we go with that. Okay, so that's pretty finely blended or pureed. When it just taste it. Sweet, salty, heat. I think I'm good on the gochujang. It's not meant to be incredibly spicy, but I do want to lift it just a touch. So I'm going to add like 1 teaspoon of rice wine vinegar. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to use the 3 techniques that come to mind today. One is going to be a forward sear, where I'm going to put them on the hot side and then put them on the cool side after when I'm happy with their color. The other is going to be a sort of reverse sear, where I'm going to keep them on the cool side for ages, for most of the cooking time, and then give them color on the hot side. The last one will be straight hot, where I just have to flip and manipulate, and they will rest on the cooler side, but it'll be more different than the other 2 with regards the amount of heat to tension it's going to receive. So I'm just going to get a couple of coals underneath on the cool side and let that settle. I probably want about an 8-second or so heat time where it's comfortable for my hand, more or less. Quite clearly a job for the donkey long tong. Oh, it's a bit wobbly. These I'll keep for the hot one. Right, so I'm happy with the color. Okay, so these are chilling nicely here, still cooking, still bubbling on the bottom. And I'm going to wait until the fat's mostly translucent, like this is nearly there. I'm going to switch these around a bit. Once that fat's translucent, over and on. Right. So these are going on now, hot and fast. The reverse here. Naturally, these will start flaming and going quicker because the fat has had time to break down a little bit and drip quicker than from cold like these ones. Right, on hot until they're ready, until the color's good. These look good. So we are ready to go for it really. Much quicker, of course, with the full heat. Let's go taste. Cheers, guys. Okay, so I'm going to taste the forward seared ones first, or the one first. Characteristics, good color. It's got to be pretty tender. Now my mouth's watering because I personally love, on the rib chain, there's membrane around the ribs. And yes, it's a bit more chewy in that, but I love its flavor. Delicious. Really soft and the fat's rendered nicely. So for me, that's a great result. It's not barbecue tender. It's got some attitude. You know, it's actually technically a tough cut of meat, and it's really good like that. Let's check this one. Wow. Okay, there is one difference. It's very apparent. Let's check the hot one. So this should be like almost like crackling. Okay, the jury's out now. Surprising differences. I thought that there was going to be a tender toughness difference, but there really almost isn't. The one that was seared first is great, soft enough to eat. Then I tasted the one that was on low and slow first, where that fat had time to render down. And I think that that's what set it apart and above this one. Just the mouthfeel, the level of flavor, because I think that fat, I don't know how it's rendered differently. I think it's almost had time to release a bit more than this that was thrown on the fire straight away. And then going on to the hot, not really much tougher. Great char. The char flavor on that beat these guys, but I could probably get a little bit more char on these should I want. And I like that. I like that charred, that bitterness that is one level of flavor, not the only level of flavor. But for whatever reason, and I think it's down to the fat rendering slowly in the beginning, the low and slow first, for me, is the superior method. So there's a great comparison. Let's go to the second part of the video, which is the Korean marinated short ribs. Okie dokie, let's get these out and on. Taste them, smelling lovely. Let's hope they taste lovely. Okay, so things have been going low and slow for quite a while now. Of course, with the amount of sugar in this and sugary stuff, you need to really be careful of heat. but the sugar will burn in a second. So let me give it some action and start moving stuff around quickly and get this done and in my belly. Right, there we have it. All done. I think I had one sort of casualty. Got to be careful when there's sugar, man. Beautiful. Such a nice mahogany color. And the smell. Oh, let's hope the taste backs it up. Incidentally, the other marinades that I used on the first batch were really, really good. Even the fancy smanchy shop bought one was really good. Wow. These are looking amazing. Let's get Ethan to put this pick up. Phenomenal. Just gorgeous. Let's taste. So I was really quite hung over and starting to develop a little bit of personality. Nearly done a bottle. Long may it continue. Super soft. That's good. It's got the flavors you want without it being too sweet. Like the other sauces were great, but they were quite sweet. So more for a savory mind. So if you wanted this more sweet and sticky, you could just add honey or sugar. Get that level up, get it more syrupy to begin with, and you'd have that. But for me, it's great. Garlic is there. Sesame seed oil isn't as prominent as you would have thought tasting the marinade. Certainly a good attempt, I think. Cheers. So this is galby, Korean Braai short rib. So there you have it, my 7,000 subscriber YouTube special. I think it was quite a good video. It put me through my paces, and it was amazing to see the different methods or techniques side by side and the results that came out. There was no discernible difference on tenderness, on juiciness, because it's such a thick cut. So that was quite surprising for me, and I hope that you guys found this valuable, and I hope that some of you have stuck around to the end. It's always great to see. When you watch your YouTube video, you just see, and that's when I know I was probably talking too much rubbish in the beginning, which was definitely the case in this video. So thanks for sticking with me, and I hope that you enjoyed the little twist, the Korean Kalbi, the Flanken cut of short rib, which us as South Africans know to be short rib per se. So salut, thank you, and I really look forward to the next 1,000, and thank you so much. I really appreciate all the subscribers. Please like this video. If you're still here, please like it. It's really important. Let me not keep you guys any longer. So yeah, that's it.